Story title: The Child They Left to Die, But Destiny Said No. Written by Dia Rantami Medjugorje. In a small village, in a home already filled with many children, a woman gave birth to her 10th child. At first, there was joy. Another child had come. But that joy did not last long. The baby was different. She was always sick, always weak, always crying, while other children grew, laughed, and played. This child only struggled to survive. The parents tried everything: herbs, traditional medicine, different healers. Nothing worked. Day after day, the baby became thinner, weaker, until she was nothing but skin and bones. People began to whisper, "This one will not survive." One day, the mother needed to go to the market. But there was a problem. She could not leave the child at home. The baby cried endlessly and was too fragile to be left alone. So the mother did something unusual. She took cloth and wrapped the baby, then wrapped another cloth, and another, layer upon layer, just to make the baby strong enough to stay on her back. The child was so tiny, so fragile, that it took many wrappers just to carry her. When she got to the market, people saw her. They stared. They pointed. Then they laughed. What kind of child is that? Is that even a baby? Why stress yourself? That one is already gone. Some covered their mouths, mocking her. Some shook their heads in pity. But the mother said nothing. She carried her child, stood tall in her pain, and continued her trade. As the sickness continued, frustration grew. The parents became tired, helpless, broken. And one day, they made a painful decision. They carried the child far into the bush and left her there, not because they did not love her, but because they believed she would not survive. Days later, something made them go back. Maybe guilt, maybe hope. When they got there, they froze. The child was still alive, weak, barely breathing, but alive. That was when the grandmother stepped in. "Bring her to me," she said. "If she will live, she will live." She took the child in. She cared for her with patience and love. Sometimes, she would use a straw just to drop water into the child's mouth. People came to look at them, not to help, but to mock. "Mama, you are wasting your time. That child cannot survive." But the grandmother refused to lay. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And slowly, the child began to change. Small flesh started forming. Her eyes gained life. She didn't grow like other children. She didn't talk on time. She didn't walk on time. But one thing was certain. She did not die. That same child grew up. She faced hardship. She faced delay. She faced pain. But she kept going. She got married. She gave birth to 6 children. Life became harder when she lost her husband. But she refused to give up. With strength and determination, she trained all her children. Today, every one of them is a graduate. After the loss of her husband, life could have been unbearable. But she refused to give up. Every morning, she rose early, determined to provide for her children and secure their future. She sold plantains, palm oil, and other goods in the village and nearby markets. Sometimes she carried heavy baskets on her head. Other times she carefully balanced small trays on her back. Many days were exhausting. Many nights were long. Yet, through it all, God helped her prosper. Sales increased. Neighbors marveled at her determination, and slowly, the small ventures grew into a steady source of income. With every coin earned, she invested not in luxury for herself, but in her children's education. She believed that her children would be the fruit of her perseverance and faith. Her life was a testimony of resilience, hard work, and God's provision, proof that even in hardship, a determined heart guided by faith can rise above every challenge. That same child, who was once abandoned, is now a strong woman, a hard-working businesswoman, a giver, a woman full of mercy, an evangelist of God's word. Even in her 70s, she is still standing strong. And here is the part that will touch your heart. The same mother who once left her in the bush, later depended on her, loved her the most, ate only her food, trusted only her care, and at the point of death, she called that same daughter close. Love had come full circle. The message is, not every weak child is a lost child. Not every delay is a denial. Some destinies come hidden in struggle. That child you are ashamed of. That child you think is too difficult. That child you want to give up on may be your greatest blessing tomorrow. Final call to action. Before you scroll, or if you believe every child deserves a chance, drop a love. Tell someone, don't give up. Share this story, you might save a life today.